Hey everybody, Carl here from Apt, and in this video we're going to give you a closer look at the X800H series from Sony, which is the second model up in their 4K lineup this year and offers some really great performance at a reasonable price point. Starting off with the design, you can definitely tell this is where some of the cost savings come in. The bezel is on the thicker side of what's available now, and it's plastic instead of metal, but it still looks decent. It has the same kind of brushed metallic look as the 950H, just not the same feel. The pedestal feet are a little different too. They look a little bulkier, and unfortunately, just like almost every other TV now, they're far apart from one another. On the 55-inch model that we've got here, they're about 38¼ inches wide, but obviously that'll change based on what size you're looking at. And there's a couple other things that change based on the screen size for the 800H as well. For example, starting at the 55-inch model, which is again what we have right here, you get a direct lit screen. There's no local dimming, but it is direct lit. 49 and under are going to be edge lit. The 55-inch and larger also have X-balanced speakers, and the power supply is built into the TV. The 49 and smaller have their standard speakers and an external power supply, so the power cord's a little bulkier. Now, to touch on those speakers for a moment, they sound a little hollow on this one. This is in contrast to the 950H we listened to that sounded surprisingly good with the same 20 total watts of power. A soundbar would go a long way for this TV to enhance the overall experience. As far as inputs go, this has their standard 4 HDMIs, all of which are HDCP 2.3 compliant, and one with an audio return channel, 2 USBs, a composite input, RS-232C, Ethernet, and an antenna hookup, plus an optical audio out and a headphone output as well. For wireless connections, you get Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And for anyone wondering about those HDMIs on the 800H, they are not HDMI 2.1. In fact, this doesn't even have an eARC, just a standard audio return channel, which is again where some of the cost savings are going to be found. What this one does do very well is something that gamers will appreciate, and that's handling input lag. With game mode turned on, we were getting times under 10 milliseconds. That's better than what we were seeing really on last year from any of Sony's TVs that we tested. But without having variable refresh rate or auto low latency mode, it's probably not going to be a contender for the best gaming TV of the year when all is said and done. Now that being said, it is a very nice TV at its price point. In addition to the great input lag times, you also get a very nice picture. This one's going to do best in a moderately lit to bright room. In the dark, I was seeing some light bleed in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, but that's not to say that they're all going to do that. It just happened to be there on the one that we opened. And the blacks do have a bit of a gray overtone to them, which wasn't surprising since there's no local dimming. It's definitely more prominent when you're watching in a dark room. In a well-lit room, I think most people are really going to enjoy the 800H. It was easy to pick up details in the shadows on HDR content, and brights were very good, actually much brighter than what we were seeing on last year's 800G. Colors were really good too. I kept the picture setting on standard for the most part and was happy with what I was seeing. But you also have the option to use Dolby Vision light and dark settings where they're applicable, and those looked good as well. There is not Netflix mode available on the 800H though, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, motion was handled well too. As I've said in our other review videos, I prefer to turn any extra motion processing off, and this one was really no different. If you do use it, you have the option to customize the settings, but there's no auto mode, so you'll need to adjust it manually based on whatever you're watching. Then there's the operating system, which I thought was Android O, but it turns out it's actually Android P, which has Apple AirPlay and HomeKit built in. And it runs really smoothly. There's almost no delay between pressing a button on the remote and the screen reacting. Plus, it's got an easy layout for finding all of your favorite apps, and the apps even seem to start up more quickly than they have in the past, but I'm not really sure if that has to do more with our Wi-Fi connection or the TV itself. Either way, it was good to see. The people who are going to enjoy the 800H the most are really going to be gamers looking for great input lag times, or people who want a TV with a really nice picture to put in a room that kind of gets a lot of light, and then they also don't want to spend an arm and a leg. What do you think about the 800H? Make sure to let us know in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.